Hi there! Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Julie DiMatteo from thepaperpixie.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And in today's video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this mini impossible box that has a really cool opening. How awesome is that? I've done a tutorial for the impossible box before, but the size is different. That one was 2 inches by 2 inches by 3 inches, and this one is a 1.5 inch cube. So it's the perfect size to fit a Ferrero Rocher or a Lindor truffle or any other kind of treats that would fit in this box. Super cute wow factor to this box. This one I've done kind of like a birthday party theme using the Broadway bound designer series paper and the Broadway birthday stamp set and the Broadway lights framelits. So super cute little box here, and let me show you how easy this is to make. We're going to be using our Broadway bound specialty designer series paper. It's a beautiful set of papers that has some gold foil on one side and beautiful bright and vibrant colors on the other side. And this piece measures 5 inches by 6.5 inches. If you have a directional paper, you want to make sure your up and down pattern, or the pattern that you want to be up and down on this box, you want that to be along the 6.5 inch side. So now with this at the 6.5 inch side, we're going to score this at 1.5, 3, 4.5, and 6. I'm going to rotate it clockwise, and we're going to score this at 1.5, 3, and for the next 2 score lines, I'm just going to flip my paper over so those score lines are on the other side, and we're going to score this at 3 3/4 and 4.5. And that's just because of the way that we're going to be folding this paper. So let me bring it back to our striped side here. And I'm going to go ahead and fold backwards on the second score line. Just going to burnish that really quickly. Got one more step we want to do here on the Simply Scored. So I've got that folded edge. This is along the 6.5 inch side. Again, I folded backwards on the second score line. And I'm just going to make a little tick mark just with the ball of my stylus at 3/4 inch, 2 1/4, 3 3/4, and 5 1/4. Let's see if you can see those little tick marks there along the edge. That's going to help us when we go in to cut with our scissors. All right, now here's a template that I've created. We're actually going to be cutting away these pieces that are scribbled out, but there's a little trick to do that. We're also going to be making some other cut marks here. Let me put this off to the side. I'm going to turn my paper this way. So the first thing I'm going to do now, I've got my folded edge here, is I'm going to cut up these vertical score lines, stopping at that first vertical score line here. So I'm going to go ahead and make those cuts. All right, so I did that on all of those vertical score lines. Those are each cut. And now where we made those little tick marks, I'm going to cut at a diagonal from the tick mark diagonally to that first horizontal score line. So let me show you this one. Again, diagonally to that first horizontal score line here at the diagonal. We're going to do that all the way down. So tick mark at an angle to the intersection here of that horizontal score line. Okay, we've got each of those cut out. Now what I want to do is I'm actually going to remove this section completely. Again, this is all while the paper is folded. It's a little trick to this impossible box. And I'm just going to slightly notch in. As you can see, I cut that at a slight angle, because when I open this, we're going to have this tab here, and this is the start of another tab. So the next thing we'll want to do, let me pull in the template. I want to go ahead and cut away this lower right corner rectangle. So I'm going to come in here, notch just ever so slightly here, and cut away that rectangle. Again, using my score lines as a guide. Okay, so the last thing we need to do with cutting is we're going to cut up each of these vertical score lines, stopping at the horizontal score line. And I can actually see that better on the gold foil side of the paper. So again, cutting up these vertical score lines, stopping at that first horizontal. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so all of our cutting is done. There's the template for one more reference. This will be pictured on my detailed blog post. Okay, so we folded backwards on that score line. Let's also do the same thing on this top score line. We're folding backwards. That's why we scored on the other side of the paper. Go in and burnish, and I'm going to leave this folded as I do the rest of the folding and burnishing. So now I'm going to fold and burnish again with that folded backwards. It's going to make our box go together easier as long as that stays folded as we do these. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish along all of these vertical score lines. And then we'll take care of the horizontal ones. All right, so all of that is done. Now what I'm going to do is flip it over to the side. I'm going to grab my liquid glue, and I'm folding on the second score line from the left. And as you'll see, we've got this little tab here. I'm going to apply glue to that tab. And then I'm going to fold from the first score line on the right to line those up. And because we've got this section folded down, you may have to wiggle this around a little bit to get it to line up, because this is going to fight you just a little bit. All right, so that is, the box is coming together. Now, here is where our seam is. So this piece is going to be considered the back. Again, this is the back, so I'm going to fold in the two sides, then the back, and then the front piece. And since we're only putting in a Ferrero Rocher, we only need to apply glue to one of these tabs. I'm just kind of squaring that up as I press it together. All right, so that's the base of the box. If you wanted to, you could take your glue bottle and just press from the inside to make sure that that's nice and adhered. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of dry fit the top of this box before we put any glue down. So I just want to make sure I can get it to fit nicely over the box. Okay, that's a good fit. Now I am just kind of pushing in from the corners just to get that center hole there as small as I can. But that's a really good fit on that box. So I'm going to go ahead and open it again. It's going to be a little bit stiff, but we'll work with it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on this little tab we have here. And because there's gold foil on this, you really do want to just do a little bit of glue, because otherwise you're going to have a gluey mess. Just picking up some extra glue here. All right, so I'm just going to gently place this underneath that side there before we close it down. Now liquid glue really is key here, because it does give you some wiggle room to kind of get that into place before we press it down. So again, I'm just squeezing in from the corners, making sure everything's lined up where I want it to be, and then pressing that last little tab into place. Now this isn't going to perfectly line up. That's okay. This is actually going to be the back of our box. Okay, so there's the box. Let's go ahead and open and close it a little bit to kind of break it in. You do want to be a little bit gentle with the designer series paper. You don't want to squeeze too hard opening and closing it, because otherwise you'll crush your box. But because this has the gold foil, it's got a little bit more sturdiness to it. So I'm just going to do that a few times just to kind of break it in. I just love how that opens. So let's go ahead and put our chocolate in. I'm just going to kind of lift this up and press the chocolate down. It's a little harder to get out than it goes in, but that's okay. It's fun for the recipient. All right, there we go. Now I'm keeping in mind this is where our seam is, so that's going to be the back of the box. And let's do a little bit of decoration. Okay, so I used the Broadway Birthday stamp set, and this is the Broadway Birthday bundle. So I stamped using Memento Black ink onto Whisper White, and then using the Broadway Lights die set, I cut out the little birthday hat here. So there's that piece. I've done that ahead of time. Then using the 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch, I'm going to punch out a black circle out of basic black. And with the 1 inch circle punch, I will punch out a circle from Lovely Lipstick. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and glue all 3 of these pieces together. All right, then I'm gonna actually grab 3 dimensionals here. The first one I'm gonna place right on the box because I wanna make sure that we're not gonna get in the way of the lid being able to open and close. And I'll put the other 2 kind of right next to it. Probably overkill on the Stampin' dimensionals, but you can never have too many. And then I'll put this at a little bit of an angle here. Pop that right on the front. Now we can see that this box will still open and close, no problem, because we don't have the dimensionals in the way. And then I'm going to grab from our metallic pearls a gold pearl. Now this comes in a set of both silver and gold. So I'm grabbing a gold pearl here and I'm going to place that on the birthday hat just for a little bit of bling. And there we go, a super cute mini Impossible box using products from the Broadway Bound suite. I love it. Perfect for party favors or just a little wow gift for the recipient. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next video. If you're interested in purchasing any of the Stampin' Up! Products I used today, they'll be linked in the description. And I'll also include a link to my detailed blog post with all project details, measurements, and a picture of the template. I'd love to have you come visit me at thepaperpixie.com where I post projects every weekday to inspire you. And I have options to subscribe to both my monthly newsletter as well as my daily blog updates, and I'd love to welcome you as a new subscriber. You can shop with me anytime at thepaperpixie.com/shop. And if you're interested in earning a discount on your Stampin' Up! Purchases, I'd love to welcome you to my team of Paper Pixies, and you can purchase the starter kit at thepaperpixie.com/join. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care. Bye.